No.
10 minutes.
We've never done this before. We have no idea what we're doing. So,
Okay.
welcome back to the green screen. Today we're talking about pricing strategy. Pricing, Brett.
Pricing because I'm happy.
I get it. So there's a couple different pricing strategies that people can use in their business, and the most logical one is what we call market pricing. What's market pricing?
Market pricing is pricing around the price that your neighbor also prices for their products.
Yeah, because why would you pay something different than what is in the market? So it's driven off of the market. Who sets the market? How is that market set? Is all completely different than the things and parameters that actually you are involved with in running your business. So we're going to focus on not necessarily meaning that you're going to not use market pricing, because you probably use market pricing a little bit printed threads.
To some degree, we have to stay somewhat competitive.
But developing that market pricing and to ensure that you're actually building profit into your supply chain and into your company so that you're making money at the end of the day. Because why go to work if you can't
make money?
And making a profitable, growing company allows you to do amazing things. And at the end of the day, you're not always going to make money, but overall, you should probably make some money.
More than half the time, it would be a good idea.
Yeah, because if you're making money more than half the time, logic would say that you would be profitable.
That's what logic might say.
And in the world of color and accounting, because accounting has so much color in it, profit is
Black.
and not profitable is
Red.
all right. So let's talk about pricing for profit. So when you're pricing, what are the costs that you consider to ensure that the pricing model that you have and the throughput that you have is covering your costs? What are some considerations that you're going to make sure that you cover so that the things you sell pay for your costs to run the business?
Instead of listing examples, let's go to the whiteboard.
Do you want to do whiteboard? You got way better handwriting than me.
Oh, well, that's debatable.
All right, so Brett, you started your business 6 years ago, 7 years ago?
It's been 8 years. We just had our eighth birthday in April of 2018.
So 2010 he started, kind of after that recession, and you didn't start as a huge company with tons of people, but a lot of people are starting businesses or growing and kind of dialing in these pricing models. So why don't you list some of the expenses that you had and or other starting businesses or small businesses that are growing might have, from the bottom up. Let's build this pricing model from the bottom up.
Yeah, so early on, we started in our garage, like most of you probably will, but soon had to move into a facility. And whenever you move into a facility, whether it be a warehouse or office or whatever, you have to pay something called rent.
What did you pay?
We paid $1,250 rent for 2,500 square feet of space.
Pretty good deal.
Yeah, that is $6 a square foot. And the electric bill, probably around that time, wasn't too terribly expensive. Probably want to say maybe $250 a month.
Did you have equipment in there?
We did. We went and bought equipment similar to a entrepreneur package, which maybe cost around $10,000. And if you divide that out over 3 or 4 years, I can't remember what the term was, our lease payment was about $250. There's all kinds of insurance coverage, but insurance that would cover your build outs and equipment, those types of things would be a liability insurance. For a small company like this, you might pay about $100 a month. At that time, I was the only employee. I was very lonely.
Did you make money? Did you want to pay yourself?
But I did want to make money. Whenever I started out, I think I wanted to make $2,000 a month, just enough to kind of scrape by. Internet is awesome. When you're a business, you get to pay twice as much. And so we would say internet utility might be, for a small company, maybe $50. And then your cell phone, if you use some of the cheaper cell phone companies out there, you can get a cell phone plan for around $50 a month as well. It's a good idea to have some sort of miscellaneous expense category because you never know what's going to come up through the month. Maybe a pipe breaks, maybe you have some sort of maintenance to do, or maybe you want to join the Chamber of Commerce or something like that. An annual fee that only comes up once a month, but you need to be able to spread that out and budget it throughout the year. So we'll have a little miscellaneous line item here, and that miscellaneous will be, we'll say $400 a month that we want to kind of set aside for expenses that might come up over time.
All right, so $43.50. Now, Brett, when you started, how many shirts a month did you print?
That's a good question. I think when we started out, maybe we were hoping to print 1,000 shirts a month.
So 1,000 shirts a month. So what we do is, to get our cost basis per shirt, is we take our total monthly nut and we divide it by roughly how many shirts we plan on printing. So that's pretty easy math to do. So $43.50 divided by 1,000 is $4.35 per shirt. Now, the other thing that you might say is, well, I'm printing out in my garage. I don't have rent, or I don't really want to make money. I don't need a salary. It's always good to budget those things, because if you want to grow and if you want to actually make it a business, you're going to have to pay people and you're going to have to rent space. Probably, unless you have some kind of awesome land deal in the backyard, with a great pole barn or something like that. But it's always good to plan that. And let's say you are doing that, you can actually rent the building from yourself, and that can be a tax deductible expense. So at least, it doesn't hurt to build it into your pricing model. So that means before you even bought the shirt, you had to at least have that much in the shirt, right?
Absolutely. So this is where it gets really hard to compete as a small business with some of the bigger businesses, because while their costs here might be amplified, they aren't amplified tenfold or 100-fold. They just do a huge amount of volume here, so that their cost or their expense per shirt is a whole lot less.
No. When you were starting out, what shirts were you printing on? How much did they cost?
Yeah, a lot of the shirts that we printed on starting out would be maybe a Gildan, which costs maybe $2, or a Next Level shirt, maybe $3. Yeah, so we'll say to compete, shirt cost would be $2.
And then how much consumables actually go on the shirt?
So consumable, as far as chemicals that might be used during the process, or ink that we're using, it's probably going to amount to about 10 cents per shirt. So it's not a lot, but it is something. And when you get into doing your tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of shirts a month, that 10 cents adds up to be a pretty big number. So you want to make sure you include it right off the bat. That means you need to be selling your shirts for more than $6.45 in order to make a profit.
Now, it doesn't also mean that you can't sell shirts for under that. It just means your average sale overall needs to be well above $6.45. The other thing that comes into play here is the difference between a supporting margin and incremental margin. Incremental margin is, let's say you printed 1,000 shirts. You can go out and drink a beer now. Congratulations. Somebody comes in the door and they want to buy shirts for $5. What can you do?
Once you have sold 1,000 shirts at an average cost of $6.45 or more, then your gross profit margin goes way, way up on every shirt sold beyond that 1,000 mark.
Which then gives you the ability to take on more jobs, maybe get a little bit more aggressive on pricing. Overall, at the end of the day, your throughput might change. And as you grow in business, you should always be aware of your throughput. If your throughput's changing, then your cost model's changing. You go from printing 1,000 shirts a month to 2,000 shirts a month to 3,000 shirts a month. You buy an automatic press, you hire people. This is a fluid model that's continuously changing. The point is to understand your cost basis and understand what that relates to your pricing model.
It's important to know these numbers extremely well and stay in tune with them on a monthly basis. So you'll be looking at a profit and loss sheet that might be inside of QuickBooks or whatever accounting software you're using, but stay in tune with this. Over time, you're going to want to add employees or add cost that you need to plug in here to see how these numbers change. So you might think to yourself, I want to add an employee that's going to cost $2,000 a month. Now I know that I just need to add 20 cents to the cost of this t-shirt, and I can add that employee without losing money.
And or just print another 200 shirts that month, because
Absolutely.
that employee should be adding value to your business, so then you can go out and sell more shirts and continue to grow. We've done a couple YouTube videos that show this concept in different illustrations, as well as have an actual Excel sheet you can download and use. You can find that on screenprinting.com, support page, and on the resource page of the Made to Make It book. The point is it's not a pricing calculator, it's not a pricing estimate sheet. What it is a pricing strategy tool. As you build your pricing for your niche market and you grow your business, you ensure that you're continuing to build profit into your structure.
Thanks for watching this episode of Green Screen. We'll see you next time.